Yo, what is up, guys? James Carter TV here to reveal my 2015 NFL Draft quarterback rankings, and this year I went all out. I have prospect grades, I have projections, and I have pro comparisons as well for these quarterback prospects. Now, you have to keep in mind, everything's in the description box that you need to look at in terms of grades, in terms of pro comparisons and all of that. But we're talking about quarterbacks here. You need to keep in mind how valuable quarterbacks are in this league. So even though I might say Marcus Mariota is an above average starter, and normally you don't really want to waste a second overall pick on an above average starter, you'd rather draft a Pro Bowl starter. These are quarterbacks, and we need... Our teams, NFL teams, need franchise quarterbacks. So even though he may not be a Pro Bowl player, a really good not Pro Bowl quarterback is a lot better to have than a Pro Bowl wide receiver. So of course Marcus Mariota is going to be higher on a franchise quarterback needy team's board than like an Amari Cooper. Okay, so keep that in mind when I'm giving these prospect grades, and they will be harsh. But despite the harsh grades, it really doesn't matter. If I say a player is a fringe starter, someone that needs time, that's okay. But if you're a wide receiver and you need time, I'm not going to take you. If you're a quarterback and you need time, okay, I can live with that. So keep that in mind when you look at these grades. Now, I'm only going to talk about 6 quarterbacks, because I think only 6 quarterbacks are worth talking about. Now, there are some quarterbacks I might take in the 7th round, notably Brandon Bridge, no, not even Brandon Bridge, Brian Bennett or Chris Bonner, that's it. Blake Sims maybe as well, but Blake Sims, all he does, he's really good at throwing the ball deep occasionally, but oh my god, incredibly inaccurate. Brandon Bridge has horrible mechanics. So Brian Bennett and Chris Bonner are the only other 2 quarterbacks besides the one I'm going to talk about that I think are even worth drafting. And Shane Carter from ECU cannot throw the football 40 yards down the field, and you need to do that in the NFL, so I'm not even going to even worry about drafting him. I think he's undraftable. So with that said, we're going to start with number 6, and at number 6, I have Sean Mannion, quarterback out of Oregon State. Big, tall, prototypical NFL drop back passer. If you're still in love with the old version of the drop back passer, look no further than Sean Mannion, because he is Mr. Concrete Feet in the NFL pocket. He's not moving. He's going to sit there. He's going to throw the football, and for you, that might be good. And he has a big arm. Big kid, big arm. You want him in a vertical offense. That's why I project him going to the Chicago Bears in the 4th round with the 106th pick. They're looking for an heir to Jay Cutler probably in this draft. They would love to get like a Jameis Winston. Oh, they would love to get Jameis Winston, but they're not even close to that range that's going to be determined for that. So they'll sit in the 4th round. They'll draft Sean Mannion, and they'll hope that Sean Mannion can be a lot better with his decision making than Jay Cutler was. But they're very similar quarterbacks. Now, I didn't compare him to Jay Cutler, though. I compared him to Zach Mettenberger and Mike Glennon, the mix between those two. Why? Because they're not going to move. They're not going to move. They're going to sit there. They're going to throw the football, but I question how much potential Sean Mannion has in the NFL. I really trust Zach Mettenberger, but no. Sean Mannion, I really don't know how much potential he has in the NFL. That's why I have a 54 grade on him, which for me, this is just for me, is a backup with starting potential, but needs a lot of time. And when I say a lot, I'm pretty much talking about a year. A year, maybe 2 years. So 2 years would be that'd be great. Let him sit for 2 years like Phillip Rivers did, and let him learn the NFL offense. But he has a big kid. He has a big arm. He can be inaccurate at times. And like I said, he's immobile in the pocket. Let him learn how to manipulate the pocket, learn the NFL game, and then you could have a starter on your hands in Chicago. All right, number 5, I have Brett Hundley. I'm low on him. You know, you may be surprised. I already said Brett Hundley's number 5 for me. That means he's below Garrett Grayson. That means he's below Bryce Petty. Look, from what I saw, and he was in a pro-style offense. He was in a pro-style offense at UCLA, and I didn't like what I saw. He was inaccurate a lot of times during games. He forced a lot of sacks upon himself. He missed wide-open receivers consistently. I don't like Brett Hundley that much, but he has potential. Why? Because he has a really strong arm. I think he has the strongest arm in this NFL draft. Behind Sean Mannion a little bit, but I think Brett Hundley could actually be higher than Sean Mannion. He has the ability to break away on huge runs like Colin Kaepernick, and that's who I compare him to. But like Colin Kaepernick, he's going to miss open receiver. He's going to be inaccurate from time to time. He's going to rely on his legs too much. You're not going to be able to rely on him to sit back, stay in the pocket, and throw the football well and consistently. I just don't like Brett Hundley that much. But he will be drafted probably in the 3rd round. I wouldn't take him to the 4th. I think he's a backup with starting potential. I have a 59 grade on him. But I project him to be drafted by the New York Jets with the 70th pick, round 3, and he might go earlier than that. You know, he might go in the 2nd round, and I think that'd just be a huge mistake. I like Brett Hundley as a person. He's a great person. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. I really don't. I think he might be a career backup, and then he'll fade out, and he won't be in the league. I mean, I really don't like Brett Hundley that much, and I might be wrong on this, and if I am, well, hello, future, because I'm sure you're going to come back and hate me for this. So, number 4, I have Garrett Grayson. Garrett Grayson is an interesting prospect to me, but there are some things that scare me. I'll get to those first. Look, he doesn't have great size. He's 6'2", 213, which is fine. That's good enough. But the problem is he has a low release of the football, and this results in a lot of his balls being batted down at the line of scrimmage by defensive linemen. And they're going to be bigger in the NFL, and that's an issue to look at. So he's not a tall kid. He has a low release. A lot of his balls get knocked down at the line of scrimmage, and that's kind of the big deal. That can be infuriating. But he also does some other things well. He throws the ball well, accurately. He has a good enough arm for the NFL. He's pretty smart and intelligent, and he's able to move around and read his progressions well. Although, at the same time, he does tend to lock on to his primary receiver a little bit more than I would like. But with good coaching, he can be coached out of that. He trusts his receiver. He trusted Rashard Higgins to make plays for him. And he didn't turn the ball over that much. He had like 7 or 8 interceptions to 7, actually. 7 interceptions this past season. So he knows how to take care of the football. This is a good prospect for a team that doesn't need a quarterback right now, but can develop one down the road. And then maybe he can start year 1 at the back half of year 1. And that's why I like him going to the St. Louis Rams, and I like him to Derek Carr. They both worked in a West Coast spread type offense up in the Mountain West, and he doesn't have the quite enough arm strength that Derek Carr has. Derek Carr was much stronger than Garrett Grayson is. Hell, I mean, even now, Derek Carr, much stronger arm than Garrett Grayson, but Garrett Grayson is a little bit more accurate than Derek Carr more consistently. But also with Garrett Grayson and Derek Carr, once they're pressured, they get flustered. And I sometimes, when Garrett Grayson got pressure, like in his game against Utah in a bowl game, wow, he was bad. He gets really flustered easily, so you need to have a good offensive line around him. But I do like Garrett Grayson. He's my number 4, and I have a 65 grade on him, which is a fringe starter / backup that needs a little bit of time. And when I say fringe starter, that's someone that shouldn't be starting, but is kind of like Geno Smith. But he has the potential to be better than that. All of these quarterbacks have the potential to be better or obviously worse than what I project. And this is just what I see. But there's a lot of potential here with Garrett Grayson. I like him a lot. Number 3 is Bryce Petty out of Baylor. I like Bryce Petty. Now, the thing that worried me, because I actually had him as a first-round talent until the Senior Bowl. The Senior Bowl came around. I watched the practices. I watched everything going down there. He was bad, and I don't know why, and consistently, because we have plenty of days, for you to come out, okay, have a bad day, come back the next day, have a good day. No, he was bad consistently. When he was now playing in the prototypical NFL offense against a prototypical NFL defense, sort of. I mean, it's a Senior Bowl defense, but still, he was bad. He threw an interception in that game even. And that worried me. That scared me off. But in his pro day, he threw the ball well. At his combine, he threw the ball well. So it's a guy that throws the ball well in shorts. But when the pressure's on, when the defense is in front of his face, problems arise. And even in practices, his dropbacks were ugly. But When he's on during a game, though, in college games, he was on. When his deep ball is on, he might have one of the best deep balls in all of college football, and it will translate to the NFL. And he likes to throw it deep, and he likes to throw it consistently deep, and he likes to throw it accurately deep. He can make any throw in the NFL. He has plenty of arm strength for that. But again, I worry about what happened during the Senior Bowl. What happened? So I need to understand that. I need to sit down with him. I need to talk with him, but I can't. So hopefully the NFL teams do, but I have him projected going to the Cleveland Browns. Hopefully they have an idea of what happened because it doesn't make sense to me. And I liken him to a Jay Cutler, Jake Locker mix. Like Jake Cutler, he'll make some throws where you're like, what the hell was that? And like Jake Locker, he has similar athleticism, able to get out of the pocket. He'll run less than Jake Locker. He'll make not as many bad throws as Jake Cutler. But it's a mixture. It's a mixture between those two prospects. And like I said, a 65 grade on him. Number 2, we have Marcus Mariota. Now, with Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston, I will be making individual scouting reports this week on both prospects. So I'm not going to talk much about them here. But know this, for Marcus Mariota, I like him. I like him a lot more than everyone's talking about. And a lot of people expect him to say, well, he's a 1 to 2 year project. I think he can start right now. I think he's good enough to start right now. And I liken him to Russell Wilson and Ryan Tannehill mixture. Like Ryan Tannehill, he came from a spread offense. And like Russell Wilson, when he moves out of the pocket, he's looking down the field, is able to make big throws down the field. And Marcus Mariota's arm is like Ryan Tannehill's arm. It's a good arm. It's not the best arm in the NFL, but it's good enough, plenty good enough to make every throw. And he's a smart player. He's an intelligent player. He does not turn over the ball consistently like Russell Wilson does not turn over the ball consistently. And I have an 84 grade on him. Now, that is an above average start at the quarterback position. A chance to make Pro Bowls. I like him that much. In order to range that, in terms of production, I mean, like a Matt Ryan, except even less turnover prone than a Matt Ryan. I like him that much. Quick release, lightning quick release. The ability to manipulate the pocket well. I don't know why people are saying he can't throw the ball from the pocket consistently. He did it all the time at Oregon. And, he never took snaps under center. 80% of the snaps for the NFL prototypical offense, like Ken Wisenhunt might have in Tennessee, actually more like 70%, are from the shotgun anyway. Third down, you're going to be in the shotgun. Only first down and second down, you might do some play action or a little bit of that. But majority of your passes in the NFL is going to come from the shotgun. So that's not a problem for me. But anyway, I will talk extensively about that later on this week. I like Marcus Mariota as a second prospect in the NFL draft, quarterback-wise, and I have an 84 grade on him, and I project him to go to the Tennessee Titans with the second overall pick. And finally, we get to Jameis Winston. I've been on Jameis Winston since January of last year. I tried to tell people, this is the guy. He is going to be number 1 in 2015 NFL draft, and he should be. This is a really good quarterback prospect we are talking about. When it comes to the past 7 years, when I pull guys like Matt Stafford, Matt Ryan, Sam Bradford, Andrew Luck, Robert Griffin III, those are the best quarterback prospects of the past 8 years, okay? There's Andrew Luck right here, and to me, there's Jameis Winston. And then we have Matt Ryan or Matthew Stafford. I think he's a better prospect than Matthew Stafford was. I think he's a better prospect than Matt Ryan was. I think he's a better prospect than Sam Bradford was. He's unlike Sam Bradford, he's proven to be durable. He won a national championship. I think Sam Bradford did actually, but never mind. He has great leadership and intangibles, and you can trust him to take your team down the field in the 2-minute drill. Incredibly clutch gene, which is really unbelievably and more important than what people like to point out that it is. Do you know how many games in the NFL are determined by fourth quarter drives? It's a big deal because a lot of teams in the NFL, they're close and compact together. Like when the Bucks, even the Bucks this year, they lost like 7 games by a touchdown or less. You throw Jameis Winston in that, he's going to win 5 out of those 7, and boom, you're a 7-9 team. That's really important at the quarterback position. Really good arm strength as well. Can throw interceptions, and you need to sit down and work through tape with him, because for some reason, I don't know if he can't see linebackers on some plays or what, but he forces some throws over some linebackers and they make him pay. Tries to fit some throws past some linebackers and they make him pay. If he can calm that down, we could have a really good quarterback on our hands, and I think he's going to lead the Bucs to a lot of success. I have an 89 grade on him, which on my grading scale is a perennial Pro Bowl player. I think he's that good. I really think he's that good. And the athleticism can sometimes burn you. He's able to move the pocket well and sometimes go out of the pocket and move around there. So Jameis Winston, I really like him. And I liken him to Tony Romo. I haven't heard this comparison, but I see it, okay? Like Tony Romo, able to move his team down the end of the game and score touchdowns late. Clutch, Tony Romo. Unlike Tony Romo, can sometimes throw too many interceptions than you would like. And I like him to Eli Manning in that respect too. Can sometimes make some bad decisions, force throws that they shouldn't, but when it's time to win the game, he can put you down the field, score a touchdown, and give your team the victory. And I don't know what more you want from this kid. I think he is damn near a perfect prospect. If it was outside of the off-the-field issues, which I think are going to be a big deal, or the interceptions, he would be a perfect prospect. But I like him. I think he's a Pro Bowl kid. I really do. So, and the best quarterback that's going to come out for the past, better than anyone in 2014, better than anyone in 2013, and better than anyone in 2016. But we're not going to get into that. Until next time, James Carter TV, I'm out. Peace.